because of everything. Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? All right, all right, all right. I am excited. We are going to get into it tonight. Go ahead and share this feed with your family, friends, whoever. Go ahead and share that feed. We're going to have some really good conversation tonight that I think is going to be really helpful, especially for those of you that are considering getting into real estate, or maybe already in real estate. You might already be in real estate and just like, okay, where am I at? What am I doing? And I can tell you right now that building a real estate portfolio, it's not all about, oh, let me go real fast, or it's not all about, let me handle every aspect of it. Even as you're learning, you need to be having certain partnerships where you're learning together, right? Because the whole goal is to keep the doggone stress away. Because I can tell you right now, investing in real estate, I love it, but it definitely has its points where it can become very stressful. And so it's just not one of those things, Crystal, that you want to do by yourself. You want to get a proper perspective on it. You want to kind of pull back and look at the big picture, and then go in and try to start setting up systems and processes that will help you, Trina, to do this thing the right way, because there's a wrong way to invest and then there's a right way to invest. And I want to hopefully shed some light on things that I've learned, things that I'm learning, because I am forever a student, as hopefully all of you all are students as well. That's going to make it, a pleasant experience for you. So I'm going to pray for you right now, then we'll jump into it. Father, I just thank you, Lord, right now for your precious people. I thank you for this August 20th. Oh my goodness, Lord. We are in the 8th month of 2024. And I just believe that there's so much more that you want to do in us, you want to do through us, you want to do for us. And Lord, I thank you, Lord, now for the spirit of intelligence. I thank you for the wealth blueprint. I thank you for the systems. I thank you for the strategic partnerships, the strategic structure that will help us to grow and expand supernaturally and exponentially. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, great. Awesome. I see my girl, Tyra, just joined in. So I'm going to bring her to the stage in a minute. But I just want to say this, Crystal, that, go ahead and get your pen and paper. Go ahead and share this feed with a family member or a friend. But I really believe that there are a lot of you that are at the brink of really doing something different, doing something new, expanding and increasing. And one thing that I've learned and learning, because I'm always a student about real estate investing, is definitely something that you need partnership with. I think when you go in it, you probably go in it thinking, I'm going to try it. Then you get in it and you get hooked. Like me, I got in and I just got completely hooked at, I just got hooked. I got hooked with the art of the deal, the negotiating of the deal, and then realizing that, I'm called to solve problems, and I want to see you guys get involved in the real estate game. I want to see you do buy and flips. I want to see you ultimately do buy and holds so that you can create cash flow. But I know many of you did not get in business to manage properties yourself, right? And maybe you didn't have that much foresight. Maybe you said, I'm going to get in and I'll do whatever I got to do. But I think it's very important that you delegate and that you bring people on that that's their expertise. So they do what they do. And so anyway, I asked my girl Tyra to come on. She works with me on one of my apartment buildings, and has just been a blessing to work. We've grown together. We've worked together. We talk often. She'll tell you I'm a very hands-on investor, but we got a good flow. We got a good flow. So I'm going to bring Tyra onto the stage. What's up, Tyra?
Hello. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Good. I'm excited to have you on here tonight. So how did the day go, girl?
Busy all the way up until now. Yep.
Right. I know, right. All the way up until now. So let me ask you, so how long have you been involved in real estate?
This is actually my 19th year.
Wow.
Yes, okay. Almost 20 years.
So what have you done over these last 20 years in real estate?
I started off just as a personal assistant for another real estate agent. And I basically just went in from that and learned the entire business from him. And after about 2 years of working like as his assistant, it was like I knew how to do everything. The only thing is I wasn't licensed. So then I'm like, I need to get licensed. So about 2.5 years in from working with him, I got licensed and I just kind of hit the ground running from there as a real estate agent. I started to specialize working with investor clients. And from there, investors, clients, of course, need property management. So along the way, I got into property management as well. And then that's how I started with the property management also.
Wow. Okay. I love it. I love that story. And so, guys, let me tell you something. Tyra is going to be with us at the Monopoly in Real Life Conference, August 31st and September 1st. We're actually going out in the field looking at 2 mobile homes and 2 single families that you can actually buy. So you'll have an opportunity to hear a little bit more at the conference from her. But I think this part is important because I think sometimes when people start investing, and I do think it's important as an investor that you kind of learn, kind of like what you said, you learn kind of every aspect of the business. But honestly, like I don't have a desire to become a mortgage broker or a desire to become a realtor. I think that it is important that you become a specialist. You're going to learn a little bit of everything, but then you got to find out where your sweet spot is. And I know my sweet spot is, finding deals. People call me every single day with deals, negotiating deals, understanding the art of the deal, and then either doing a buy and flip or buy and hold. Like that's my sweet spot. I don't want to really sell houses. I'm not really trying to do lending. I definitely don't want to do property management.
I didn't either when I first started.
You didn't
honestly.
But you found out you were good at it, I guess.
Yeah. It's just something that I got good at. And then I just went with it. And it was kind of like you said, it was like my niche. So once you find something that you're good at, you just go for it. So, but prior to that, I saw how stressed out property managers were. And I said, I would never want to do that. And I looked up one day and I was doing it.
That is crazy, Tyra. I did not know that story. What's up, Randy? Hey, Charlene. We got some investors on here tonight. Make sure you guys share this feed for me really quickly. Text somebody. Charlene, put in our Telegram chat. Tell them jump on here right now on Jill Taker's Facebook page because I think this conversation is really, really, really important. Make sure you just go back, follow all my stuff. I did a live last week with Kim Kiyosaki. It was phenomenal. Now tonight, Tyra. And so it's going to be phenomenal again tonight because I think as investors, you have to stay open to always be learning if you are serious about investing. Now, Tyra, you work with a lot of investors. You've seen people, right? Miracle, hey girl, you've seen people do it right and you've seen people do it wrong.
Yes, absolutely wrong.
So
yeah.
What are some of those pitfalls? I mean, mentorship, I think, is 1,000% important. Right relationships is 1,000% important. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. I definitely have saw it could go both ways, just like you said. The main thing that I've saw where people do it absolutely wrong is one, trying to do it themselves, and not having someone to guide them and direct them, especially if you're a new investor, and especially in my area, in the Detroit area, you cannot go in it alone. I mean, that's probably everywhere, but especially in Detroit, I've saw people lose millions of dollars with investing, and they've come to me to try to clean it up. So definitely have someone that knows the area, is knowledgeable with investing before you just jump out there and try to invest. And then secondly, is people who's tried to do it themselves after they invested and they didn't get the proper property management. So I'm not just saying this because I'm a property manager, but property management is key in investing, and the correct property management, because you can have the wrong company and it could take you straight down if you don't have the correct property management. So those are the two things that I've noticed where people just absolutely went wrong with investing.
Oh, child, we about to get into it tonight.
Yeah, we could get all the way into it.
like seriously, like I would not want, there is no way I would be able to be as successful as I am without the right relationships. Tyra has been a critical relationship, her being a property manager for one of my apartment buildings. There's just no way. There are now, for the most part, I think we finally got it leveled out. It took us about a year to level everything out. We got it 100% occupied. Thank you, Jesus. And everything is up to par and running like it's supposed to, but we had to work it out. And I had to trust her, to work it out. And we would talk often. I'd be like, hey, how's it going with this tenant? Or what's going on with that? If I tried to take on property management, I think I would be so stressed out. I wouldn't want to do it anymore. And I couldn't put myself in a position to continue to increase cash flow. My whole goal as an investor, your goal as an investor, Crystal, is to say, I want to increase cash flow. Now, I do know some investors that manage their properties too. I highly don't recommend it because I think you're going to get so caught up with the day-to-day. We had a water main burst recently. It wasn't an apartment building. It was a city. But they were without water. She had to handle that. I don't want to have to call the property manager or the water company. I don't want to have to deal with the tenants, right? Because some of them were out of rate. Listen, don't do it. You want to keep yourself clear where you're open. And let me say this really quickly. I got to ask you a question. But before I do that, for those of you that are watching right now who maybe say, man, I've really been kind of wanting to invest, but I do need a mentor. I do need some help with the buy and flip. I do need some help with the buy and hold. Like, where do I do? Where do I go? Go ahead and email support@certifiednow.com because I take a handful of people every single month and I'm helping my people to do buy and flips and buy and holds. And that is my sweet spot. And that is what I love to do. I don't want to do what all of my other team members do. I don't want to do what Tyra does. So Tyra, you've seen people make a lot of money. You've seen people really lose their shirt because they didn't know what the heck they were doing. I want to talk a little bit about the demographics, men to women. Most of your investors, what do they look like? Honestly, just honestly.
Honestly, most of them are overseas men. I have a lot of clients that live out of the country, and that's been probably about 70, well, I would say about 65% of my clients since for the last 15 years have been clients from overseas.
15.
So I'm starting to get more that are like, out of state and even local, but over the years, it's always been China, Japan, Singapore, UK, Nigeria, but so that's mostly honestly what I encounter.
Wow.
And mostly men, but it's a lot of women starting to get involved as well now. I've always actually had investor clients that were women, but it's always been more men, but I am starting to see more women getting involved. So that's excellent.
That's huge. Do you have women of all races or mainly one demographic of women?
Actually, yes, I have had all races. And I'm happy to say that there has been a lot of African-American women that I've dealt with over the years. And it's actually been kind of equal as far as African-American women and then women from other races. So it's not like it's not a lot of, Black women out there doing their thing. So that is really good.
Listen, that is really good. Percentage men to women, what is that? 90, 80?
Men to women, I would say 30, 70.
30. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's really good.
Yay. With men being 70.
Okay, but that's beautiful.
Yeah, but it's still, I'm seeing it more. I'm
Yeah.
seeing more and more women getting involved. So
Yeah. What are the thing? What would you know? What would you tell a woman? What are some of the more maybe common mistakes that you're seeing happen with female investors that you would say you need to kind of watch out for?
I see a lot of women investors trying to take more control than they should.
Oh, are you talking about
And
me?
that's
You talking about me?
no.
Listen,
No.
I'm better. I'm better, right?
And I understand. I totally get it because it was in the beginning with us. It was a new relationship, and you had to build that trust.
Yeah.
So you have to, and I encourage my clients to be more involved, especially the ones that are out of state or out of country. I always encourage you need to come and visit every now and then because there's so many of them that they've never even been here. They've never even put eyes on their properties, and so I encourage that. And I commend you for, putting your trust in me because I know that that's not easy, but I mean more so of kind of like trying to do it themselves and not just kind of like letting me handle it. I see that a lot actually with women, but like I said with you, once you build your trust.
My contract is on here right now. You talking about Jewel. That would be her. No, I've grown a lot, but it took a bit. So you do see women a lot trying to kind of maybe take more control than what they need to.
I see it a lot with women, and I think that's just us. That's how we are. And the women are kind of like more on top of it and want to know what's going on and things like that, which is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it will get to a point where it will take away from what you're here for. Like you said, you're here to invest in real estate. But if you try to get into all these other avenues, then it's kind of taken away from what you're here to do. And that's like find good deals and, make sure that you're getting good investments because you could get overwhelmed by all of that other stuff that's going on. So once you do find someone you could trust, you kind of just got to like let them do their thing. I mean, if they give you a reason to not trust them, I have a one strike you're out rule. I hate to say it, but I do. Like once in this business, once someone give me a reason not to trust them, I have to let them go because you will start losing money in this business if you keep giving people opportunity after opportunity. So so that's what I've saw a lot with the women.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, what about pitfalls of an investor? Period. I think the business is very relationship oriented, which is why I started Asetify, this community, because I feel like, even when we tried our hand at taking a unit, remember, and going to do Airbnb, and it was renting out, but it just wasn't renting out as consistently. So I went and bought all this furniture for 2 units. And then we realized it was renting, but not enough. And we said, okay, let's just make it long-term. Let's make the whole thing long-term. But because of the relationship with you, you were able to find somebody for me to buy my furniture. As a matter of fact, I got 4 rims of 22s if you know somebody. But you made a phone call.
All right, let me make a few phone calls.
You made a phone call and the furniture was sold, for a good price, for almost what I spent for it. So having that property manager is not just, you collecting rent. It's property manager has to have discernment on when they interview the client, the potential tenant, make sure that they're a good fit, right? Looking at their age, looking at what they might, be into, not into, married, children, single, because we pretty much have the same demographic in this particular unit that Tyra is managing for me, and it's work. We haven't had any drama with the tenants not getting along, no fights, no people mind their business. But I attribute that to you mainly because you make sure that the tenants that are going in there are going to be compatible.
Yeah.
Now, there's some property management companies that I don't know if they care.
They don't. Most of them don't. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but that's something I kind of left off in the business. I mean, in the beginning with me getting into property management, that was one of the main reasons. Like I said, I would never do it, but it was because I was dealing with so many investor clients and I really just did not have a good property management company to refer them to. Like every time I would refer my clients to a management company, I would hear the feedback months later, like, this happened, that happened, they stole from me, they did this happened, my property, all of these issues. And then it just got to a point where it's like, you know what? I'm just going to manage my client's property myself. So it started with me as just kind of managing my clients' properties. I didn't plan to build like this big property management company. I was just going to manage a few of my clients' properties. And then it was like they refer me to someone, then they referred different, they referred. Next thing I knew, at one point I was over 400 units. And then I did downsize a couple years ago, but it went from literally about 10 properties to 50 to 200 to over 4. But it was mainly because it's just not good property management out there. And it's mostly because they do not care. Matter of fact, that was my old slogan, is the difference is we care, because most property management companies don't. And it's mainly because with property management, you need help. You can't do it on your own. And especially if you expect to grow, you have to get help. And it's hard to find people to help you that actually care. Even if you care, it's hard to find people that help you that care. So that's been my main focus over the years, is getting people that work with me that's on the same, have the same intention and everything as me, and that they actually care. Because like I said, most don't.
Don't
And
even
that's
care.
unfortunate, but
Yeah, and one of the things that I love about you, like if you call or she'll send an email usually and just say, hey, something needs to be fixed. Let's just say, unit 3 needs, the toilet is running. Like, she'll say, I'm sending a plumber over there, and this is, what the cost is going to be. The cost is very, very reasonable because obviously she's using contractors over and over. So they have a great community rate already. And next thing I know, it's handled in 24 hours and I don't have to worry about it. And it is just it is a beautiful feeling being an investor, having property management that you can really depend on, because now it's just cash flowing for me. Right. It's just cash flowing for me, which is what's supposed to happen. And so I think this is really, really important, because I do see a lot of investors trying to do it themselves. I even see some trying to do it from another state. Most of the people in our community live in different places here in the United States, and then some are right there in, Detroit, as well. But you don't need to do it on your own. I think you're going to slow your growth down unless you feel like it's your sweet spot. But everything can be your sweet spot. I think for investors, your sweet spot needs to be getting the properties and making sure that you get property management in them. Now, and so I think that's really, really important. You created a nice team of contractors. Are you pretty much using the same contractors over and over, or?
yes, I've actually established a group of contractors and maintenance that I've used for years. That is key in property management, is finding. It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle over these years, but I finally have narrowed it down to like a good 5 good workers, that's good at what they do. They're dependable. Only thing I ask is that you do good work and that you're dependable and reliable, and that you're reasonable. And usually the reasonable is easy because they'll start to see, I'll give you like so much work because I have all these properties. So once they realize that they're getting all this work, you're gonna become a priority, and they're gonna give you a good deal. So I always treat my contractors like really good. The ones that are good and reasonable and dependable, I treat them the best, because it's hard to find, very hard, I should say, to find good workers. So once you get someone that's good, that's a little advice. Just treat them well and they'll make you a priority. Like I had a contractor, I stopped a hot water tank and furnace from getting stolen from a house, because that's another thing. Like if you're out of state, you got to have someone here that's your eyes and ears. Otherwise, you're going to lose a ton of money. So we noticed that they stole the globe. We had an alarm system at this property, but they stole the globe out of the electric meter. So I started getting an alert, because I get it to my phone, the alarm alerts, that it was a low battery. So I know instantly when it's a low battery, something's going on with the electric. So I was able to get one of my contractors like to go over there at like 9 o'clock at night to just check and see what was going on. He got there, the globe was gone. So they were preparing to steal it. They have to wait for a little while for the electricity to go completely off. So that by that next day, that hot water tank and furnace would have been gone. So I had them yank it out for me, store it until we get this tenant placed, and we had to install that like the day of the tenant move in to prevent it from being stolen. So it's things like that.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. House sitters, maybe needing to put in a house sitter. So what did you do? You had him like super secure at the house, boarded up or something, so they wouldn't?
No, so we just took the hot water tank and furnace out.
Just took it out
until it was time for the tenant to move in, because that was the only thing they wanted. And then we didn't have to secure it or anything because it's not there anymore. And then we installed the hot water tank and furnace the day of the tenant move in. So
stuff like that
out for me and put it back.
But somebody said they just got their property manager, but I pay for appliances, plumbing, electrical monthly. So one of the things that Tyra and I actually talked about doing, I was paying DTE or electric and water, and so anyway, I bought the property with all appliances in it, so I didn't have to do any appliances. But if I hadn't, I would have probably done it. Okay, but the electric and water, I had she set up on budget billing, right, which has really helped the monthly expenses. But we're taking it a step further. Every person, as their leases are up, we are now going to make them responsible for the electric.
Yeah, the gas and electric.
They're going to be responsible for the gas and electric. What did we say we were going to do with water? Remember?
Well, because of the water meter, especially for like apartment buildings or even 2-family flats, it's usually only 1 meter, or for apartment buildings, it may be like 2 meters split up. So a lot of times that's a little hard to make them responsible for that, because everyone use a different usage and it could get a little touchy with the tenants on that. So we could charge like a flat fee each month added to the rent for the water based upon the usage.
Yeah, we'll look at the usage over the year, divided by 12 and come up with a flat fee. But so as their leases go up, they'll now be responsible for the electric bill, which is amazing. So I'm super excited about that. So, there are definitely things that you can do with your property manager to see how can we increase expenses. Another thing I'm going to do is build another unit in the basement. I was waiting for the property to stabilize. I'm painting the outside of it. So it's different things you can do to keep improving on the property and ideally raising rent. We raised rent last year, so we're not going to raise rent. I think we said we're not going to raise rent 2025, but we will add on the utilities. Yeah. I think that's what we said, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you can come up with things like that, but I think it's important. I really want you guys to take this serious, because I would probably say, now you tell me what you think. Mm-hmm. I would probably say most people that invest in real estate, especially if they start, they get a couple doors behind their belt, even 3 or 4 or 5 doors, they be stressed out.
Oh yeah. You could definitely get stressed out. You could get stressed out. That's why you need to have a team and you need to be able to delegate. And I know it's hard for people that have a hard time delegating, but that's going to take a lot of the stress off of you, because like you said, you need to be finding real estate investments, sitting back, just getting that cash flow coming in, not being concerned, not a tenant calling you at 12 in the morning, or, trying to figure out who am I going to get to do this work, sending someone out to do it. They don't do it right. Now you got to pay somebody else to go out. It's just too many things that could stress you out. It's just a matter of finding the right person that could be your eyes and ears and handle the property for you.
Absolutely. So listen, those of you that are watching right now, that you're like, hey, you know what? I'm ready to get involved, or maybe I want to continue. Some of y'all on here already got some properties and you're like, you know what? I'm ready to scale it. I'm ready to grow it, but I didn't have the systems in place. I didn't have the relationships. I didn't have the team. I want the mentorship. I have a mentor, right? I have two main real estate mentors, and that's Kim Kiyosaki and Phil. And I talk to them often about different deals. I ask them to get their eyes on deals. I ask their opinion. Like, if you're serious about growing, you got to invest in yourself. You got to invest in your business. You got to invest. If you say, hey, I want to get this, or I want whatever it is your goals are. And I don't want you guys to just think doors. I know a lot of times you're going to invest in me. So how many doors do you have? Okay, you know what? It's not even how many doors. Like, what is your goal to have coming in every single month on cash flow? Right? Because you might be able to do that with 5 roofs, where somebody else has 100 doors. You have 5 roofs, but each of those 5 roofs have 20 doors. So, you don't want to just like let your ego go crazy. Find out, what are my real goals? What is it that I really want to, how's it that I really want to live? And if that's you, I want you to email support@accetify.com right now. And somebody will reach out to me, reach out to one of our team members and set up a meeting with me, and we'll help you to craft a goal. Also, we're doing the Monopoly in Real Life Conference August 31st, September 1st in Detroit, downtown at the Renaissance Center. It's going to be amazing. September 1st, we're actually going out on the field and looking at properties, right? And we're looking at buy and flip opportunities for as little as $60,000 all the way up to $100,000 that you can get in and experience what's happening, this economic revitalization that's happening right now. Tyra, so I wanted to ask you, so we talked a little bit about the whole contractors, making sure that the team is together and all that. Tax time, property management is very, very important, because when it comes time to filing your taxes, if you don't have a property manager, like I love having Tyra as a property manager, because I'm clear. I can see she has an expense report for me. I see what's come in. I see what's gone out. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm not guessing how much did this property net me, right? What were the expenses behind it? That's another great thing about having it. I don't have to keep up with all the electric bills and the water bills. She's doing all that for me, right? And so it's going to be easy for me to simply download that report and send it straight to my accountant. Now, what am I doing? Reducing my overall tax liability. So talk about, I guess, from that accounting standpoint, because you guys do a good job at really keeping those records nice and tidy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that's a part of being a property manager and handling the properties. We provide monthly statements. You have access to a portal if you want to go into the portal and just kind of check like who's paid this month. I mean, you could still reach out as well, and I can give you that information, but you can also go on your portal. You can get monthly statements. You could get yearly statements. So at the end of the year, when it's time for tax time, you could just go and pull up your yearly statement for the month, and it's going to tell you your income, your expenses, all of that. So you don't really have to worry about it. You're just like you said, you're sending it over to your tax person and then let them handle it from there. But everything is documented. All the repairs that's done, everything is documented. What's sent to you monthly, all of that is documented in a statement. So
yeah. No, that's good. It's important. It's important to have that stuff together, because the last thing you want to do is keep growing and your stuff not in order. You want those finances to be in order. You want to make sure you're filing your taxes. You want to make sure you're reporting all of that. You shouldn't even have that much in taxes as you grow your real estate portfolio, because your tax liability is going to be being reduced every single step of the way. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening in Detroit, because I think people can invest anywhere they want. I was talking to a client earlier today, and they're really interested in investing outside of Houston. And we got on the phone with another realtor down there, and I was telling them, hey, I'm looking for a buy and flip, because I'm going through the motions, but I've already done this in quite a few other cities. I want something between 70 and 100,000 that we can maybe fix up for 20 to 30 and then put back on the market for, 130, 140. He's like, huh?
In Houston?
Well, right. I was trying to find something outside of Houston either. I knew not in Houston, but outside. But he was just like, huh? What? Girl? And I've looked at and I've really tried to do this even here in Nashville. I've tried to do it like in Clarksville. Like, you can get a cheap house, right, for 70 to 100,000, but fixing it up and putting it back on the market, the margin's just not going to be there. The math is not going to math. It'll be a hold, but not a flip. So talk about some of the economic revitalization that's happening in the city of Detroit, because I really do think that we need to get very, very, very aggressive. I just read this probably not even 30 days ago that Detroit specifically is owned mostly by 3 Caucasian families, which I have nothing against them, love them. That's all great. But I'm just saying it should look like us. And that is the Ford family, the Illich family, and then the Gilbert family. That is too much in a city. 70% in a city owned by those 3 Caucasian families. But then you got the other percentage coming from out of the country, right?
Yes.
And there are more of us, but it's too small in comparison to the whole. So I feel like right now that you need to be very aggressive. Like, you need to be moving urgently into getting credit together, getting relationships with the banks, joining communities like the Setify, hooking up with property management company that you can trust to really manage your stuff. Talk about the economic revitalization that's happening right now.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, while it's still kind of easy, I would say, for us, and while it's still, compared to other states, cheaper to get property, like it's really no other place like here in Detroit. And it's been like that for a long time, but we are starting to get to that point where they're trying to get us like it is in other states. So it's still that opportunity there to do something, like you said, get something for 60 to 70, put 20K into it, put it back on the market for 150, 160, something like that. You can still do that here, actually. But I don't think it's going to last too much longer the way things are looking. So it still is that opportunity right now to still jump in, just for the average person to just jump in and invest.
Nah, that's good. Yeah, I really think within the next couple of years, it's going to be hard to get anything.
Yeah.
I was just looking at, some of the property that I own up there, and when I bought it and how much it is now. And I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm grateful, but it also makes me feel like I have this sense like I can't buy enough fast enough,
From what I've just saw over the years, just in the last 10 years has just been crazy as far as the growth for Detroit, which I'm happy, I'm excited for all the great things that's happening in Detroit. But as far as investment wise, we really got to jump in now, because it's getting to the point where it's not going to be as good as it is right now. So,
oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that. And let me tell you something that I'm seeing. Commercial lenders, commercial appraisers, insurance, the insurance cost is going up.
Oh yeah.
It's been going up for a while. This year it was a huge hike. So I'm literally on the call this week and last week. I've been talking to insurance companies trying to come up with a group rate for all of our certified team members, because you're going to get pushed out just in the insurance alone if you're not careful in the city of Detroit. Because, you know, on one end, they're saying we're raising rates because of the area, but at the same time, those same areas, economic revitalization is happening. And then the other thing that we're seeing is that commercial lenders are trying to become stricter on, you know, giving loans out. Appraisers, and I definitely think, and this is not going to stop us, but just be aware, I definitely think racism is playing a place in who's getting the loan, right? And what the appraisal is coming back in at, right? And so they really are trying to squeeze so that you really got to have your stuff together. You got to have cash flow. You got to have capital together to be able to do the down payment and the closing costs. You definitely need your credit together, because even if they'll approve you and your credit is 620, it needs to be at 700 at least, just so you get a decent interest rate, because interest rates are already higher. You know what I mean?
Right. That's very important. Otherwise, it's not even going to really be worth it if you're not getting that good interest rate. So
it's not going to be worth it. So you really need to be looking at off-market properties. You need to make sure that you're getting with the right insurance company that is going to advocate for you getting the property. And then property taxes. And one of the things we're going to be talking about, Tyra, at the Monopoly in Real Life Conference, my girl Tina Williams is going to come in there and break it down on how to get grants, get a 501c3 nonprofit, so you can get grants for affordable housing, which is going to help you to eliminate tax liability and also be able to help you to service the economically disadvantaged, whether it's, you know, V8, Section 8, domestic violence, whatever, and help you craft the vision and the mission. So, for example, I was talking about doing domestic violence because my last marriage, I was in an abusive situation. So I have a heart for that. But then when I dug into my responsibilities, I didn't want to take that on. So I went to another area that I want to serve. But like, you got to have therapists on board. You have police protection. You know, so just some things that some of you might really want to do. But she's going to show you how to do that so you can get grant money and not have property taxes. Because
that's exciting. Yeah,
that's a game.
I'm excited to hear that myself about that. Yeah,
girl, yeah,
sounds great.
Yeah, so we're gonna really set you guys up to really, really win the right way and make sure that you're experiencing investing. I'm not saying it's gonna be perfect. You know, just because you have a team member, it's still gonna be stuff that happen.
Yeah.
You know? It's going to be stuff.
I think it's best to prepare. It's best to prepare people for that, because people have to realize that investing is like a journey. It's like a process. It's not something that you just jump in here and you just start getting all this money. No, it's like a process you go through. Even like we talked about in the beginning with the apartment building, it takes a minute for things to get kind of stabilized. And then, but if you're on top of it and doing everything the right way, it will get to that point where it's smooth, and then you just got that cash flow coming in. But you gotta kind of be ready for that process. It's just like purchasing a home. Like I tell with first-time home buyers, like when we first start getting ready to look for properties, I have this talk like, this is a journey, and I'm going to be on this journey with you, but just be prepared. We're going to go through this and we're going to go through that, but in the end, it's going to be great for you because you're going to find your dream home. But it's a process. So,
yeah. Okay. I think this is my last question. The emotional intelligence. I think that, you know, there have been times where I wanted to get frustrated. Well, I did get frustrated.
It's going to happen. It looks like it froze up a little bit. Or is it just on my end? Julia there?
I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay, it's back.
Yeah. I mean, it was times that I did get frustrated, but then I've learned I'm getting a lot less frustrated than I did a few years ago, right? Because I realized this is a part of it, and every problem is meant to solve. And though I want things to happen urgently, I want to close on the property urgently, close on the property urgently. I want to fill it with tenants urgently. I want to flip it urgently, whatever it is, buy and flip or buy and hold, whatever. I want the contractors to finish urgently. Whatever it is. Tyra, did we get a tenant? Urgently. You also have to learn, you have to exercise patience so that you don't live a life always upset. I'm just curious, you deal with a lot of investors too. How many of them just seem like every week they're getting upset about something and they just really need to change their perspective or maybe just stop investing?
Okay, so let me tell you, because I deal with so many different people, I'm able to actually almost do like a analyzing of this. And I've narrowed this down to the T. The investors that I've had over the years who panic about everything and get all frantic and oh my God, and then get upset and get mad, those continue to have issues. And I promise you, they continue to have issues because that's what you're attracting. I don't know who believes in this or whatever, but I'm telling you because it's facts and this is what I see. They attract, when they put that out there, they attract more of that into their life, and they lead an investment life of nothing but problem after problem after problem. Now, on the other hand, I have this batch of clients who, whenever there's an issue, they're kind of calm about it. They just get on top of it. Okay, this is part of it. Got to take care of it. Keep it moving. Those clients have the least amount of issues. And I'm just saying that you have to just trust this process in your investment journey. And as long as you're prepared in knowing that things are going to happen, it's a part of investing. Things are going to come up. Things are going to happen. Whenever something do happen, take care of it. Keep it moving. If you do it that way, I found that you will lead a lot less stressful life, and your investment journey will be a lot smoother. I'm only saying this because this is what I see and this is what I know. So just try to be calm. Don't let your emotions get involved so much. That's in business, period. Like, just try to keep your emotions out of it as much as possible and just do like the logical thing that needs to be done and keep your emotions out of it to the best of your ability. Because I know sometimes it's going to happen, but just try as less as possible not to get the emotions involved.
That's a word. That's a word. It really is. Okay, how do you think I did? Which one am I?
I think you're in the middle.
Okay.
But
do you think
it's a lot better? No, it's the last few months, girl. You have been great.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's where everything just starts falling into place.
Yes, but it's so good because I do honestly try to really focus on more of what I want and less of what I don't want.
Yes.
And really practice gratitude. I literally was having this conversation with another investor today. I said, I'm just at a point, no matter whether it's a property or whatever. My husband and I, we were on our way flying back from New York. He did the Jazz Fest up there. It was great. And then it's late at night. We get to Baltimore and they cancel our flight at 11 o'clock. And then we try to book a hotel at the airport because everybody's booking hotels. He was doing it and then they sold out. And then we had to go to Homewood Suites, but you know what I did? I said, Lord, there's a scripture that says you got to know how you got to abound in the base. And I didn't complain one time, did I? Baby. He got his headphones on. I didn't complain one time.
That is awesome.
And I was so proud of myself. Yes. But that's really where I'm at in life. Like, the more you grow, you can't just say, oh, I want to build this empire, but then act like a baby. Yes. You got to grow up. You got to get the skin to go with it. And so I really want to encourage you guys to connect with the community, get to the conference. You got to have these conversations so you can learn, you can grow, you can stay a forever student. Tyra, thanks for coming on here. It's always so much fun. I'll be there all next week
You're
too
so
if you want
welcome.
to and do something on your podcast, which
Oh,
I
for
love.
sure.
Everybody follow you. How do they follow you?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much Tyra Nicole across all the platforms. TYRAA with 2 A's. Nicole. Instagram is I am Tyra Nicole, and Facebook is just Tyra Nicole. So, or you could just Google Tyra Nicole.
Love it, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
But thanks for
But
coming.
that gratitude is so important. I just want to piggyback on that. Like, we have so many more things to be thankful for than we have to complain about. So that gratitude.
Oh, this last point. Treating your contractors with respect. Even if they don't deliver when they tell you they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not super important? I mean, you can be mean and sharp and that's not
right.
That's not, especially if they're doing good work. Now, if they even I had somebody jack my stuff. We talked about that.
I done been there. So
and if I see him tomorrow, hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? Because he's still a human being. I don't like how he does business, but he's still a human being.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we have to remember, because sometimes I see that with the investors and I know they might get a little frustrated because of this, but I'm like, please treat these guys with respect.
Yes. Because you would want to be treated with respect. So if they, like you said, if they don't do good business, that is what it is. We don't have to do business anymore. But at the end of the day, like you said, they're still a human being and everybody deserves respect no matter what. So.
And especially if you're brand new and see, we've gone through a few, right? So we know I'm not looking for perfect. I'm looking for skill and I'm looking for dependability and integrity.
Yes.
If you say you're going to be there at 9, but you don't get there until 11, I'm not going to say I'm happy about it. But if I know you're skilled and you're dependable and you're not going to steal from me, then you're going to get a pass.
Right. As long as you get there. Now, if you say you there and you just not there, then
that's
but as long as you get there and you getting it done. Don't just say you did something and it ain't done. That's the part right there.
No, that's the part. That's the part. But we got to give a lot of grace. But I think the more you get in there, the more you realize, okay, let me get a little bit more grace for this. Listen, this is a ton of fun. Yeah, I'll have you back on here soon, girl, because I know we helped a lot of people tonight to really get into it. Y'all get your tickets to Monopoly in Real Life Conference August 31st and September 1st. We will be in the field, and not only Detroit. It's going to be so much fun. Tyra, let me know if you want to do something next week on your podcast. I'll be there all week. And I appreciate you. And y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.